Well, Clinton Brown here, and it's great to have you all here. Thanks, Chad Best. No, seriously, it's a really, really important day for our club, and it's just so beautiful to have so many faces here for everyone who made this thing happen. It's somewhat serendipitous that our mayor for the Byron Shire actually used to be a goalkeeper and a coach here for Byron Bay FC, Sarah Njai. So I'd welcome her to the microphone to say a few words to kick us off. Welcome, Sarah.
The puns are going to come in thick and fast, aren't they, today? My name's Sarah Njai, and I'm the Mayor of Byron Shire, and I'd also like to acknowledge the Deputy Mayor, Jack Dodds, who's here today. The wonderful, yes, I'll give him a clap, he's awesome. The wonderful Delta K was invited along today, but unfortunately is unable to give you a welcome to country, but I would like to at least acknowledge country, acknowledge that we're on the Arakwal land of the Bundjalung Nation, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. This is such a key, special place for the Arakwal people, knowing that they lived, worked, and people came from all across the nation to come together here, do ceremony here. They've kept that connection to culture alive and strong, so we really want to acknowledge that today. Yes, I am the mayor, but a long time before that I was a single mum with 2 little kids, and I guess having a football team I ended up coaching my sons under 6s, under 7s and under 8s, and then my daughters under 6s and 7s. And playing, and then later my daughter played in John's team, and I remember, so she's 24 now, I remember us sitting down here and he's going, "Come on, do you reckon you can try and help us get this off the ground?" So it's really wonderful to be here today. It's taken a lot of people, a lot of effort. Unfortunately, council weren't able to throw in a lot of money, but they were able to offer loans to help make the project happen and so that's a contribution of sorts. But all in all, this is a real celebration for the community and incredible people like Kerry and John and all of yourselves who really help build and maintain community in this area with teaching young people football, playing together. Really, it's just such a great thing. And so congratulations to everyone involved in making this happen.
Hey, how are you? And welcome. It's always incredible. I've had this vision in my mind for 10 years, and I was invited by Richard Ray to join the committee 10 years ago when we were meeting down at the Park Hotel, and a conversation was instigated amongst us all that wouldn't it be good to have a clubhouse somewhere along the line. Along the way, there's been some incredibly pivotal people, so I'm just going to mention them along the way, throughout the journey, and try and explain how we got here. Sort of 8.5 or 9 years ago, we had a meeting with council at which Menno Koopman and Rob Kempnich were at, and there we discussed with the council our dream and our desire for a clubhouse here. They were incredibly encouraging, they were enthusiastic, and have been ever since. So here we are 10 years later, and there's still strong advocates for what we've done here. It was the first step in a long step. We then got onto the DA, started going through the process of getting the DA, and in a random sort of set of circumstances, we got the DA, which was reasonably straightforward, and then the council tried to take the rec grounds from us. So we then had to go into battle for the rec grounds, and that involved the entire rec ground community: rugby, cricket, netball, scouts, croquet. And it was quite a laboured fight, but we eventually won that fight, and so that became sort of, the second step. But in that journey, there was some, again, really pivotal people. Nicky Kempnich was huge in that, and without Nicky, we wouldn't still be here as a football team, quite possibly. And then what happened after that? We then sort of it all started getting pretty real. In fact, then Clint Bown turned up, I think, somewhere along the line, and he turned up from an AFL history in Victoria, and came with money and enthusiasm and introduced Nina Cowan, who then became extraordinary because through Nina we ended up with $750,000 worth of grants. And so... And so all of a sudden, for me, what was an esoteric sort of idea became fucking real. We had money in the bank, which we had to spend. There was an obligation. So then we started to get involved in getting the construction certificate together and getting builders lined up. And COVID hit, and the whole thing was put into abeyance, and the budget went up 50%. And then, with great fortune, Todd Nouse came on board towards the end of COVID, and Clint got on his horse and just went gung ho and went for money, got more and more money. So we got into a situation where we started, and that was in 2023, late 2023, I think. And then we started without enough money. So we started in a pretty precarious position. We had to start because we had to spend the money that we'd been given by the government. And so we got going, and by hook or by crook and by the enthusiasm of everyone in and around the project, we just kept on slowly walking our way through it. Again, held by Todd and Clint beyond sort of measure, really. It's hard to explain the involvement of those two guys and their sort of enthusiasm and desire, because it was beyond what you would expect in a normal situation, and it really was pretty crazy. And then eventually, by hook or by crook, we finally got the thing built. I do want to acknowledge some other people along the way who I missed out on, because I'm not very good at this, but there was people on the board like George Roberts, who was here for a long time, who came into the club along with Clint and sort of professionalised it. So it's a weird expression, but he turned us into a club that had sort of greater dreams than we kind of believed we should have. And it allowed us to then actually believe in ourselves really strongly as a future and sort of lay the foundation for the next 50 years. And so that was again, a pivotal moment in the what's name. Kerry Northcote and Vlad Nouse, two people who have, I call them always. I mean, I started here 20 years ago, or 20 odd years ago. They've always been here. If you need elders to guide you, if you need, and I know I'm probably older than Kerry, to tell the truth, you need people who sort of give you that constant inspiration and that constant desire, and they don't do it because they want reward, and they don't do it because they walk around with their chest out. They do it simply because of the love for it. And so again, their immersion in this club and the people that then participate, it's just sort of been pretty extraordinary. So we then get to finally getting the occupation certificate, which is kind of a weird scenario, but it's the sort of thing that you desire. It happened on Valentine's Day this year, which was 8 years, almost to the day after we submitted we got the DA approval, so 10 years after the project started. And the irony of that to my partner, of course, was she always thought I'd given the clubhouse more love than I gave her. So that was kind of suitable in that regard. And so then you get here, and it's like, what have we got here? So tomorrow, for me, is the real opening. Tomorrow's muster day. Tomorrow there are going to be a crew of 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds out there who are not going to know this club without a clubhouse. And that's a really profound moment. I think back, we live in our memories. I think back to when I started playing sport as a 6-year-old, and I still support that club, and I still go back to that club when I'm in Sydney. And there's different people and they're different generations, but they describe you in a lot of ways. They hold you safe. They give you faith. They give you encouragement. And again, when you look at this club, it's always had that. If you look again at three really critical people in this, you look at Ben Ahern, you look at Todd Nouse, and you look at Grace Patterson. They've all been here since they were kids. They've already been here. We've always had it. We've always existed as a really beautiful club. So, my hope is the legacy that is left is just the ripples become wider and they become broader and they touch more people. And, again, thanks for putting up with me. I mean, a lot of people have had to put up with me. Right? So that is also worth acknowledging. That's all right. But that's a real thing. And again, that's being held. I remember a conversation with Mino where he took me to a cafe and told me how I had to conduct myself in the future if I wanted to stay on the committee. A profound lesson, and one I listened to. So that was 10 years ago. So again, it's beautiful to be held, it's beautiful to be nurtured, and it's beautiful to be acknowledged. And Deb Ginger, again and always. Berkey and always, Debbie. Every time, right? Every time, Deb. Every time. No, you can't. So all I can simply say is, hopefully one day it's acknowledged, like Vlad, like Kerry, like the Always, like those guys, that it was done for love, and that the people from here on feel that and appreciate that and do and play their part in the growth of that. And I just want, before I go, do want to acknowledge Ros for putting this together and her stepping into Clint's role. And, everything takes money and everything takes, but again, she does it with such a beautiful sort of mindset and a beautiful heart. And it's a really, great thing to see. So thank you all and enjoy it. And it's been a trip and it's been one I've been genuinely happy to be on. It's one I'm really happy to be at the end of. And, it's yours.
John, come back here for 1 second. We need to acknowledge this guy, and he can be a pain in the arse sometimes, but he's a good pain in the arse, and he means well, and he's done an incredible job in driving this project forward. So well done, John. I'd like to make another couple of acknowledgements if I can. And you all know me pretty well, and you know how much I love to raise money. And I've really enjoyed this journey, and it's been a tireless journey, and it's been a tiring journey, to be honest. And it's had its times for all of us. It's been tough and pretty emotional today not having my wife here. She's put up with a lot and let me sneak around and do text messages and phone messages around the corner and all those things that come with being on committees and driving projects forward. But she said to me this morning, good luck with the opening of the Nouse House. And that's what we call it in our family, the Nouse House. And it's not a mouse house, but it's a Nouse House. And we built this thing together. And Toddy, thank you from the bottom of our heart for your tireless work on this. And again, just to acknowledge Jackie and all that, and it's a family club, and it takes a family to do these things, so thank you to you, Jackie, as well, who can't be here today. There's some really great families, and they're honoured on our foundation members' wall, but I just want to talk about them for a minute. These people all gave willingly and significantly and substantially to allow this project to happen. And the first person that gave us money was the obvious first person, was Damo and Jody, and I'm forever grateful for that, mate. It was a phone call and it was, yep, course, mate, course, what can we do? And you've always been a great supporter of this football club and as a player, but now as a sponsor, but also as a foundation member, so a great thanks from us. To Grant and his family, Grant Moffat and Natalie, thank you so much for your contribution, Grant. You're an amazing man. And I've mentioned Todd and Jackie, but also to Vlad and Robin, thank you so much for your support for the Clubhouse. Simsy and Holly, who can't be here today, but thank you, Mark. You're a legend. Thank you for everything. And Dave Gunn. Gunny's out there, and Nat can't be here, but thank you, Gunny. Gunny was the first man to bleed at this football club. He was helping take the fridge upstairs and he smacked his thumb and he bled out there on the deck and he will never let you forget it. He bleeds for this football club, so thank you, Gunnar, you're a legend. Bernard, who can't be here, but Andrea, thank you so much for your support and your whole family. And it's great to see Freddie playing great football. Dougal and Isabella, thanks, mate. Again, when I asked you, you were like, sure, mate, I'd love to help. And you've always been such a great part of this community and you're always giving. So thank you, mate. You're a legend. The Services Club, and they've got a board meeting right now. I sit on the board of the Services Club and I had to present to them and they gave us the money and they've been a great supporter of ours and they continue to be putting in over 50 grand to us and they've been a fantastic supporter of ours. Stone and Wood, again, great sponsors and great supporters. They jumped on board, as did local pegs. Tomo, who can't be here today, but will be here later to watch the game. And Tripadil, Richard was here before, and Norm can't be here. But both of those gentlemen have been such great supporters. So it's not just the Byron Bay FC Community Football Club, but it's the Grilled Byron Bay FC Community Clubhouse. So to you, Marcus, you've been a great to get to know you and been a great friend, but also just so thank you so much for your support. And Jason, thank you for your support as well. So to the Grilled team, you guys are amazing. Thank you. You know, it really does take a lot to get on board and support the club, and I know I'm going through some names, but a few that couldn't be here today was Ryan from Street Sushi and the guys from New Beach Media who helped us with all the fundraising, and obviously Shelley Craft, CM Partners Accounting, who saved us so much on GST. Who knew there was a thing? We were looking for 150k and Ishwin said, have you claimed the GST? And we're like, no. So that was amazing. So a really big thanks. They can't be here. Chaddy Best, you've certainly been amazing. You had enough of me along the way, I know. But Chad Best has donated all the signage on the whole football club and it's been amazing. Thanks, Chaddy. I like to go unacknowledged, but I have to acknowledge James and Tanya for their contribution to the club. So thank you, mate. The Unsworth family have been amazing, so thank you. And Carmen and Lee have donated all the furniture here. You guys took a text message back. This is what I love about this community. Things just happen, so thank you for all your support. And just finally, and I know Steph isn't here, but I just like to acknowledge her and thank her because she has been patient. But I can thank her through her mother, who's here, Nana Andrea. So from me, Nana, thank you for having your daughter, the woman I love, and she's been very patient, and I appreciate all of her support. So, yeah, great. So before I hand over to Kerry for a few final words, one final thank you from me, and that is to, we all stand, Kim Gillam texted me last night and was talking about putting things up on the wall and getting some final things done. And he made a mention, we stand on the shoulder of giants. And when I came to this football club, and we're built on everybody else's work, but Greg, you know, the work you've done before I got here and the work Ros will do after I contribute in the way I've been contributing, we do stand on the shoulder of giants. So to Greg, to yourself, Greg, to Kempo, to Debbie, to Berkey, to those in the corner, to those who have built this football club, my sincere thanks. I love this football club with all my heart. I love the Nouse House with all my heart, and I can't wait to watch football here tonight.
Okay, thanks, Clint. I won't take too long because I think it's pretty much all been said. I actually feel like this is a little bit of a utopia moment because I actually didn't have very much to do with the actual clubhouse construction, fundraising, Brains Trust, all that sort of stuff. I just stepped in at the last minute as president and apparently I get to cut a ribbon, so there you go. That's proper utopia.
20 years for the last
Yeah. I will just say that, you know, like, I've obviously been on the committee for a long time. These guys have been talking about this, workshopping it. We've got to have a clubhouse, got to have a clubhouse. You know, for the last 10 years, and in the back of my head when I came on as treasurer and we had $109 in the bank, I'm just thinking, these guys are insane, this is never going to happen, we're never going to get the money. It's, anyway, kudos to the dreamers and the guys that are absolutely passionate about it, that, Byron Shire and this area is an area of great initiative and entrepreneurship, and just not just in these guys, but in the businesses that have been built around here that have contributed to this clubhouse, everyone that's been involved and believed in it. I am a believer because I'm standing right in it now. So, look, I just wanted to say a huge thanks for these guys to, for taking that dream and running with it, and that we can actually stand in it today. It's been a huge emotional roller coaster and mental roller coaster, but it'll serve us for a long time in the future. And it's for a club that just keeps growing and growing and growing, it's a fantastic resource, and great to see that it's been built with volunteers and community contribution with that help from council, which was invaluable. But yeah, look, it's a fantastic thing, and thank you to everyone for all my years on the committee. I'm just so grateful that someone took this bloody job off me and absolutely ran with it and finished it, and I didn't have to do anything, so well done.
Now we're going to have a ceremonial cutting of the ribbon, so if I can get you all out on the balcony, please. That'd be awesome. There's a significant moment for us. There's a lot of effort that's gone in, obviously, to this clubhouse, and let's signify it with the cutting of the ribbon. Officially. Let the games begin.